This video contains gratuitous use of profanity and uncomfortable pauses to compensate for lack of professionalism and original thought. Viewer discretion advised.
The wrestling podcast that sets all other podcasts apart. Covering news from the world of WWE, AEW, TNA, and more. Your favorite weekly episodic podcast, Ramblers Unleashed, starts now.
What a show. That was only night one. We've got another night to get to, but that is Wrestlemania. I love Wrestlemania season. Absolutely love it. What is going on? Welcome back to Ramblers Unleashed. This is the review show for night number one. Hope you enjoyed it as we get ready to talk some wrestling. And, honestly, I'm kind of interested in how everybody did that predicted that sent your predictions into Max Magus on X. But I'm also kind of interested to see how well we picked it. And I have an idea going forward as what we're going to do when we're picking matches, like when we're asking the listeners to pick the matches. So we're going to get into that here in just a moment. Let's introduce everybody first. First and foremost, you know him. He's my best friend, the person who would never even think about eating Culver's without any one of us, J-Bone. And he's the only guy that I know who pops bigger for Joel Gertner than any of us. The traders, well, you, J-Bone, can call him Mr. Magus, but we call him the mighty Maximus Magus. Golfers clap, Max. What a hell of a show, man.
Holy shit.
Yes.
First off, let me just say I was very excited with how the night opened. There wasn't much in the way that surprised me, but it all was exciting. But the way they ended it, oh my God.
Oh, yeah,
now,
dude. Yeah.
That was not my match of the night, but it was the best ending of the night. We'll go with that. And we'll get more into that as we start talking about the matches.
Yeah, I've got two matches that I thought were match of the night for me anyway. Next up, the person whose catchphrase is and will always be, sir, please.
Other than this week, everybody, 420.
420, yes.
The rest, we go back to the original, okay?
Okay, that's fair. The guy that I know that gets higher than a 747 airliner and hates AEW more than anyone that I know, and he's a good buddy of mine. Golfers clap for the one, the only, the Baron. Dude, what a show, man.
Yeah, I loved it, man. It was great. It was a little slow at the beginning. I'm gonna throw it out there. There's some slow moments of the show. Night one for Mania is always like this, though. We always talk about it on our after shows when we do this shit. That night one always tends to be slower because it's always, to me, the storylines that aren't as deep, right? But yeah, like Max said, the main event fucking tore the house down.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And we're gonna get into that. We're gonna talk about that too.
Baron, it may surprise you, but Jay versus Gunther is not what I was referring to as my match of the night.
Wow.
Thank you.
Finally, the producer of our show, the only trader that we have on this program. And without his wonderful missus, though, we wouldn't have him here. And by the way, again, Mrs. J-Bone, you know what to do with that thing that was delivered to you via FedEx. I'm just saying, man. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up. Golfers clap for J-Bone.
She'll never turn.
Oh, she gets enough money, she will. J-Bone, that was a hell of a show, dude.
That was a lot of fun. Yeah, and it's only night, like I said, it's only night one. Yep. We got a little bit of everything. We got some great tag team stuff. We got championships that changed. We got, I think we got to see a little glimpse of what the future of this company is going to be looking like. And it's looking good, guys. It's looking good.
I heard from our man on the streets, the guy who we sent on assignment, and that is Austin Hollis. He was actually live. We were chatting during Mania. He was there, and he apologized. His phone died, and he couldn't go live. Plus, the sales is terrible.
The most pudding brain thing that could have happened while going to Vegas is your phone dying.
Yeah, right.
I'm not shocked.
I will tell you this, though. We were chatting on Facebook, and he told me during the main event that he hit not only a pin, but he ate an edible. And he said, dude, I'm so high.
Dude, let me tell you about the last time that I went to Vegas. I don't even remember the year. Went to Planet 13, one of the largest dispensaries in the United States. I think it is the largest one. And we got these little dog walkers that were like this big. I remember just smoking them on the strip, and I could not, once I got in the hotel, figure out what I was doing. Yeah. I was absolutely locked.
Yeah.
What did you call them?
They're called dog walkers when they're about this big. They're only just a small thing. It's I mean, for someone that like myself that has dabbled in cannabis for 20 plus years, I could handle that. But that was something different, so I can only imagine what Pudding Brain's going through.
What is it? Is it like
it's a pre-roll? Like a pre-roll.
Pre-roll. Okay,
yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay. Interesting. I just never heard of that term before, and I'm like, what?
Baby J's, dog walkers, the smaller ones.
So I'm interested in what everybody's predictions, the outcome of the predictions look like, and I'm also interested in who's going to win that Ramblers Unleashed merchandise. But we got to get through night number 2 before we can award a winner. So Max,
but before we get to that,
yeah,
I'd like to introduce the 5th member of the Ramblers Unleashed team. Ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate all you do. The fact that you're here and make it so that we're not talking to ourselves. Our 5th member is you, the viewing audience. Thank you. Golfers clap. Give yourselves a pat on the back. And then finally, even though my best friend said it earlier when he was introducing J-Bone, now it's finally the man who puts the shows together, the man that gets us all the stories, the man whom gives us the identity of the Ramblers to begin with. My best friend, his name is Dizzy, and I want a real round of applause, not golfers clap for this man.
Oh, okay. Well, real round of applause. Baron, Max, did you see what Baron did?
No, I reached.
Max didn't see it. I don't know what you're talking about.
Made some goofy face. I'll remember that, buddy.
We love you.
It's just a bromance.
Bromance. All right. So before we get into the show and what we thought was our matches of the night, Max, you have the tallies of what all 4 of us predicted, right?
I do. Give me just a second, though. I want to show you guys something I just made for J-Bone.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
J-Bone is Mr. McGee.
All right, guys.
He's the original sign guy. I love it. I love it.
Get off my lawn.
I used to have a sign sitting behind me during the pandemic. These guys will vouch for this. That said, "Stay the fucking home."
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So we didn't tally up you guys' numbers. I want you to know that we will do that. I'll have those numbers tomorrow night after both nights. For right now, all I did was total up our 4 picks for night 1 so that we could rub it in J-Bone's face. Unfortunately for Baron, he's right there with him. Tied for 3rd place with 4 points apiece were J-Bone and Baron. In 2nd place with 5 points is Dizzy. And in 1st place with 6 points, yeah, that's me. Now, I will tell you this. I did look over Mir's numbers, and Mir was on the same page as me all the way through.
Oh, well, I mean,
that's night 1. That's night 1.
But that's night 1, so we got to get through. They got to get through night 2. Their predictions have got to be on point for night 2 if they're going to get that free merch.
Yeah. Night 2 is going to be the
night 2.
I think it's going to be the shakier one. I think I picked a couple of these matches just out of spite. Spite. So I mean, I shouldn't.
Because he's sitting down here.
Now, I would for sure like Charlotte and
no yeet.
I still know yeet. Charlotte and Tiffy really surprised me. So that one I was actually shocked on.
I do want to run a little bit of trivia by you. This was brought up to me right before I came in here to get on the show. Tag team wrestlers like that have spent their entire career as tag team wrestlers up till now, that have won a heavyweight title. Do you know how many there are?
1, 2.
No, it's not very many.
I would say maybe.
I'm going to say like 2 or 3.
Jey Uso would make, I believe, 6.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so Shawn Michaels, because he was the Rockers. That's how he got his introduction to the WWE world. And then he became a heavyweight champion. Bret Hart was with Jim the Anvil. They were the Hart Foundation. And then he went on to a heavyweight championship. Jeff Hardy, who was part of the Hardy Boys, of course. They did all tag team for the longest time. Jeff went on to be a heavyweight champion. Edge and Christian both got their start as a tag team and went on to become heavyweight champions at one point. And now Jey has joined that illustrious list.
Well, 6. That's crazy. That's crazy to think. And it's not that many, which is it's good that there's not that many because it doesn't overshadow any.
Wait, and I might, if I really dug into it, I might find more, but I guarantee you it's not going to be that many more.
Yeah,
what was the initial thing you said?
People who were known for being part of a tag team that went on to win a heavyweight title.
You did say Bret Hart, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He was known for teaming with Jim the Anvil and as the Hart Foundation, and then he became the guy in WWE for the longest time.
Okay.
Yeah. We do have a question in the chat, and it comes to us from Kyle. He says, do you think Roman Reigns will compete again? And that answer is, I think he will. Honestly, I think he will. I don't think a chair shot and I don't think a turn is going to keep him out of the ring for long. I don't think he's going to compete very long, and I don't think he's going to be seen on Raw that much. But he might. I mean, he definitely might show up on Monday. I don't know. I definitely think Punk will show up on Monday because he's pissed and he has a vendetta now. But
I think woman Reigns will. No, when I read it, I chuckled a little bit because I'm like, yeah, maybe that's about right. But I think he's going to be out for a while. I shouldn't say a while, but maybe we won't see him for 2 to 4 months or so.
I don't know about Roman Reigns, but let me tell you something about Woman Reigns. Let me tell you something about Woman Reigns.
be nice.
That bitch is gonna take a break. She's gonna take a little nap, and she's gonna come back stronger than ever.
Didn't he look a little different tonight?
He had.
Obviously, fucking phenomenal.
I don't know,
but skinnier. I don't know.
I don't know, but he must have used that Crest 3D because those teeth were
Those are Phoenix, brother. Those are snap-oners.
I know, but damn, did you see Punk's teeth? They were yellow looking, man.
That's from all that Diet Pepsi.
He's always had yellow teeth.
Yeah.
Is he really?
Mm-hmm.
These were like yellow.
It's because he lives in Chicago and he drinks that Chicago piss water.
Yeah, the pea water in Chicago.
Mir, you're right. He was Sexton Hardcastle. He did start off doing single stuff, but he didn't really get known under that well. It was when he became part of the Brood with Christian that he really gained popularity in the WWE, and thus was born his tag team run as Edge and Christian.
There you go. Our historian of the show.
Historian.
I
don't know why I found that so funny, but the way you said it, historian.
Hey, and listen, you're my best friend, and you know I love you, and you're a traitor, so I don't care what you think of me. So I've got a story to tell.
Former traitor.
Oh boy.
No, I'm talking about J-Bone.
Oh, J-Bone. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
So I got a story to tell you guys that happened tonight.
Yes.
It happened during the main event. It was part of the messenger chat that we have that we talk about to you guys. We do almost every episode we bring it up, but we don't always tell you everything we talk about. Well, tonight I want to tell you what happened. We're watching the main event, the triple threat match. Seth, Punk, Roman. We're sitting there, we're watching it, and all of a sudden Dizzy's like, is this no DQ? And the Baron's like, yes, most, if not all, triple threat matches are no disqualification.
Look.
All, by the way. Just to clarify that. That's not ragging.
Well, yeah, no, I was obviously, all, but the thing is though, they some are highlighted that way and some are not. So a lot of triple threat matches you see, and that's probably why you didn't know, is because
so Dizzy's like, I didn't know that. And then a couple of minutes later, and this is the one that didn't surprise me. I was kind of surprised by Dizzy. I'll be honest. This didn't surprise me. J-Bone's like, I didn't know that either.
I didn't say that.
I love these guys. Don't get me wrong.
I didn't say
They
that.
make it hard for me sometimes to be the wrestling guy that I am and have to still work with them. It's so difficult, but I wouldn't trade it. I promise I wouldn't trade it. I want to be here.
And he's my best friend, and he's talking crap, man. That's crazy.
I was telling a funny story. If I was talking crap, there was other things I could have said.
Well, that's true.
I was telling a funny story. That's all.
Yeah,
I did not say that.
So regarding our next promotion, before we run down the card real quick, our next promotion is for SummerSlam, and we're going to do something similar as far as predictions go, but this time it's going to be you pick whose predictions you want from us. So if you want to pick my predictions, Max's, Baron's, or J-Bone's predictions,
oh boy,
you pick them. You pick one of us to lead you to victory to get something from.
Oh, I get it. So it's like if we want to see the feud between Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis happen, Adam Pearce is probably going to pick somebody from Raw to represent him in the ring, and Aldis is going to pick somebody from SmackDown to represent him in the ring.
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to do with the viewers, is they're going to pick one of us to represent them. Yeah. And I have 6 points, which puts me 1 point in the lead over the second place person for WrestleMania thus far. So it might be a good idea to think about going with me.
But see,
I hope tomorrow. I hope after tomorrow's result, he still has fucking 6, and we all pass his ass up.
And see, and that's
he gets them all wrong tomorrow.
And that's why, best friend, that's why you should pick me, because I am the guy with the golden voice, and I know better. Okay, don't let their thoughts of me not knowing what a fucking triple threat.
I was gonna say, folks, remember, this is a guy that doesn't know triple threats, doesn't know DQ. What? No.
Listen, I think we can all agree that they shouldn't pick J-Bone, right?
J-Bone won the last 2.
Oh well, that's true.
J-Bone won the
Wait, say that again. Just for everyone in the back. What was that?
Yeah. He probably won the last 2 TNA picks because the rest of us don't watch TNA as religiously as he does. But I guarantee you, if you look over the numbers for the WWE stuff, worst case scenario, he tied with us.
I believe that's wow. Well, at least Mir is Team TNI. Mir is Team TNI. You need to pick sides though, Mir, because you're over on Ramblers Unleashed. You need to be Team RU.
We got Punk in the building too. So
freaking Punk. What's up, brother?
And listen, Mir, Team TNI is not going to help you with a WWE PLE. If we are doing picks for TNA, 100%. That's the guy you should probably go with. But if it's WWE, it's AEW, you want to go right down there.
You know who I
yeah, pick this guy. We're gonna be a lot of cussing during that fucking prediction show.
Fucking Baron. Why don't I go with you?
And if it's for an ECW review show, watch the dispensary get wiped out.
You know who I think will go with me though, honestly, out of all of our wonderful listeners?
Styles.
Courtney. Nope, Courtney. I think Courtney would choose me. Why? Because I'm the handsome devil.
Jiminy Christmas.
Jiminy Christmas. They're not going to pick any of us. So they're probably like, these guys are fucking idiots. We're not.
Like, these motherfuckers.
Whoa, hold on a second. We have never denied that we're fucking idiots. We're fun fucking idiots, though.
Good point.
Fucking idiots, that's for sure. Let's go down this card because this was a hell of a the first PLE, first night of WrestleMania from Las Vegas at Allegiant Stadium. Let's kick it off with Jey Uso versus Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship. This was a hell of a match. Let's go ahead and give our ratings for this match after we kind of talk about it. So let's dive into this because we all had pretty much high hopes that Jey Uso was going to win this title, and
we didn't all have high hopes.
Well, not all of us, yeah, but
he had different high hopes.
Yeah, he had different.
I was just hoping to be high during that match, and I was. It worked out for my benefit.
Here's the problem. I'm going to be honest with you, 100%. He did not care about night one. The match he cares about is not until night two. He just wanted to get through night one to make it to Liv Morgan.
Well, true. Yeah.
There you go.
But why? So Baron, why did you pick Gunther out of spite, though? That's what I'm asking. Like that's what I'm. Are you not over on Jey Uso?
No, not at all.
Why?
I get it. I love the crowd gets involved with. That's fun. It's cool. What are we doing outside of that? Don't all answer at once now, okay, guys? Let's not. I appreciate the crowd reaction. That's so much fun. It gets everybody hyped. That was some of the biggest pops of the night. I like the Usos as a tag team. I always have and always will. Yeah. I have just never really. I'm not invested in his solo run, and I think the biggest thing, it wasn't just him in particular. I think how this played out. The man just won the Royal Rumble, right? Yeah. I mean, he's opening night one. If that couldn't be any more of a smack in the face, I'm not too sure what could have been. And I think that kind of like drug me down a little bit. Plus, I was not believable, especially that finish. We can dive into it deeper here. But the finish of that match it actually made no sense to me.
So let's go to let's talk about the nearing the end of the match. Jey Uso started to fight back against Gunther until he knocked the ring general down. Gunther locked on a choke. Jey got right out of it and nailed a German suplex, and then Gunther nailed a drop kick, but Jey countered with his power bomb into one of his own. Jey nailed the super kick next, and he hit another one followed by a spear. Jey Uso climbed up on the top rope for a splash, followed by a second splash and a third one. And the last one was to Gunther's back, and Gunther started to get up, but Jey Uso latched on a chokehold to Gunther before he tapped out. So after the match, Jimmy Uso was joined by Jey, and they celebrated in the ring to win with his twin, which was
Jey was joined by Jimmy.
Yeah. Jey, my bad. Jimmy Uso joined Jey to celebrate the win, and your new champion, your new world heavyweight champion, Jey Uso, which congratulations to Jey. He deserves it, to be honest, Max. I mean, guy's been working on he's done really well as far as having a solo career.
Listen, 3 years ago, I was very negative about the Usos, and you guys probably remember that. I don't, because as many DUIs as they had, I didn't feel like they were getting punishment for violating the wellness policy like they should have, and the fact that they were in legal trouble for all that just didn't feel right. WWE made me care about the Usos again, bastards. And Jey in particular has really stood out for me. Despite the fact that they're technically twins, there is something about Jey. I don't know what it is, but to me, he's different. He's unique compared to his brother. Brothers.
He's got more. Yeah, I think Jey has more charisma than Jimmy.
And I'm glad you said that. To answer Baron's question from before, I pulled up Triple H's tweet following the match. He says, you cannot teach what Jey Uso has. His connection to our audience, his passion, his charisma, and generations of this business running through his veins. Jey Uso is your new World Heavyweight Champion. Congratulations and yeet.
See, that's the good thing about Jey is that not only does he have that generational and like the generational blood in his family tree, but he also knows how to connect to the audience because he talks to the audience on a different level versus any other person that you see out there that's cutting a promo. Jey Uso is more real. Jimmy Uso is more real too, but I think the Usos just kind of I think the people get the Usos because for so long it's kind of like the wrestlers would, and I'm talking, from HBK to Steve Austin to anybody. I think there's a difference between those guys versus Jimmy and Jey Uso because the audience feels like, wow, they sound like one of us. They're not out here to cut your generic, face heel promo and talk like a face or a heel. They sound just like us, even as a face and a heel.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. And it's just like for one and or both of them, man, they've worked so hard for how many years, and to get to this level, solo or together, is a feat in itself. So yeah. All the more to give Jason praise.
So out of 10 stars, Max, what would you rate this match?
Overall, I enjoyed the match. One of my favorite things about it was watching him take those chops from Gunther, and even though you could see that it hurt like hell, he was doing his best to just keep smiling and fight through the pain, despite all that good stuff, and loving the outcome, loving the fact that he's the winner. The finish itself kind of irked me a bit, so I'm going to give this 9 stars.
Okay, I'd give it about an 8.5 to 9 stars as well. J-Bone.
I'll give it 7. It was definitely lacking something to get it to that, what we talked about controversially, in a sense, on paper should have been in the main event one of the nights, because Jey did win the Royal Rumble. Instead, it opened night 1. But look, you got a job to do, and you got to realize sometimes that, and now this is going to sound like something that went against CM Punk back when he was in the WWE before, that made him not headline stuff. Like when he was champ and didn't headline, just because other stuff had a higher, more eyes on it than other stuff. So it is what it is.
Yeah.
But it still was good. After everything that Jey went through, it's like, man, if they don't pull the trigger on this after all that, my goodness.
It was a controversial ending, Baron, and I know that you were pretty vocal about that. So what would you give this match out of 10 stars? Yeah, I know.
I guess I just wasn't invested as much, so I didn't enjoy it like I should have. World heavyweight title should be, I deeper down in the card. He won Rumble. Finish made Gunther look extremely weak compared to everything he's been brought up in the last 3 years. So overall, I give it a 6.
Okay, right on.
The Russian judge gives it a 2.
I was being nice. I could have, went a little lower on it.
Oh my God. Like Baron's going to give it a fucking 3.
That's because the Russian judge has something against Austrians and Samoans.
Let's talk New Day and War Raiders. This one was less than impressive, honestly. I was not into it. I wasn't invested in it, Max. Were you?
I actually enjoyed this match because it's still the New Day. It's still you boys.
Yeah.
Could it have been better? Sure, but I cannot tell you a time that I felt personally, and in your opinion may be different, but I cannot tell you a time where I personally felt the New Day put on a bad match. I thought that they still did pretty well. This wasn't high on my list for the WrestleMania anyway. I'm very disappointed because we could have had a TLC match this weekend for the SmackDown tag titles, and we got the War Raiders versus New Day. While I enjoyed it, I would have rather had that TLC match, DIY, Motor City Machine Guns, Street Profits, and I hear Pretty Deadly's been involved in that feud, so there's a possibility that they're going to be in that TLC match. But honestly, even though I would have rather had them over New Day and War Raiders, I liked the match. I'm very happy that the New Day are tag champions again. I don't know what everybody's talking about. I didn't see any help from the outside at the end. I did see them grab the belts and run after they were officially named winners, though.
Yeah. Let's jump to the nearing of the end of the match. And the finish came when Xavier Woods was able to pull off a quick pinfall. Kofi Kingston helped make sure that Ivar didn't kick out. And there was a controversial finish, to say the least, but it was also a big win for the New Day. So congrats. They are the new tag champions. Out of 10 stars, though, J-Bone, what would you give it?
I'd give it a 6 or a 7.
Yeah.
I was hoping for the other way, which kind of, it's like, all right, New Day's been champ how many times, and the War Raiders finally, get to have some time on top.
Yeah, but
both healthy. It's like,
what were
they announced it right after the match, and I hopefully somebody can look it up and let us know. I forgot how many times have they actually won that title? Are we
who New Day?
New Day, yeah, plus 10 for the tag titles, or what?
Oh yeah. This is like number 12 or 13. This is like number 12 or 13.
Yeah.
But
that's crazy.
What I mean, you said that you wanted the War Raiders, but by the way, it's 13 times the New Day has won.
13?
13, yeah. But you said, J-Bone, that you wanted the War Raiders to win, and you said how many times the New Day have won. But what were they really doing with the War Raiders, with putting the titles on them? They didn't do anything with them.
Well, I mean, they did feature them, just not enough, and it's
right.
There's always bigger things than tag team stuff going on. That's the thing,
right? But they featured the New Day more than they did the War Raiders,
right? Because of this whole heel turn thing, which, yeah.
But you thought that there would have been like some sort of war of words between the two, and there really wasn't ever. There was just like promos and stuff that they cut separately. So I'm for one, am happy that the New Day got the tag team titles, because at least they'll be on TV more than what the War Raiders were. And I don't know. I've never been sold on the War Raiders, honestly.
I've been a longtime fan of theirs since the Ring of Honor days, when they both came up in the industry, and I wanted them to have this opportunity for the longest time, and I mean, I'm just glad they finally. I mean, they got to Mania as the champs, so that does say something. So I mean, I'm happy about that.
Yeah, I'm glad they got their WrestleMania moment. But at the end of the day, the titles deserve to be on the New Day, Baron. And what would you rate this match out of 10 stars?
Oh, it's going to be lower than the last match. A 5. A 5. I'm not sure. I'm not even trying to be an idiot or anything, but I feel like this match reminded me of just turning on Monday Night Raw or Friday Night SmackDown and watching a tag team match in general. And I don't think it's either one of their faults. I think Viking Raiders, or whatever we're calling them,
War Raiders.
Yeah, there you go. And New Day, I think they're both good and great, but WWE has this little fucking problem right now that, exactly. They look just like them, but I think WWE has a little issue with their tag team division. they don't. There's not much going on.
Well, that's what I was saying. Is
Yeah.
that the War Raiders? Where the hell were they? Why did they put the?
Well, they've had a few. I mean, they're transitional champions. I mean, this
were, but
unfortunately,
they just didn't know what to do with the War Raiders, and then they put the belts on them because I felt like they, because they were doing a character change and all that, and I
think here the problem here too was the crowd was not invested. So
no,
as a viewer on the show or watching, we're not invested either.
Um,
I can tell you, I wasn't.
Yeah, it was not a great. It was not a worthy match.
Any match is hard when you got an audience and you have a venue that big. If you got a smaller place and you got say 10,000 to 15,000 people, the reaction is immediate. When you get 60,000 people and you got a lot of dead air to fill up.
Yeah. Oh well,
it's just harder all around. So,
but look at their main event though. Like there's 60,000 for the main event. So I mean, we have. I just think they needed to. WWE needs to like reinvest into the tag team division a little bit more, and maybe New Day will help that.
Yeah, but Max, it's also how you carry the match too. I mean, we saw how Charlotte Flair and Tiffany Stratton carried the match. The crowd popped for them. And then the main event, the triple threat, the crowd definitely was loud for them. And honestly, even with Jacob Fatu and LA Knight, they were kind of loud for them too. So do you think that they could have done this match just a little bit better?
I mean, maybe, but you got to think about this. It's the second match of the night. You have a hot open, then you schedule a match that's going to bring it down just a little bit. And you typically will schedule I always hated the way it was phrased, but this is how it was always taught to me. You schedule the worst match of the night at the second match. And it's not always a bad match that goes there, but the fact is that's going to be your hardest match to get a crowd reaction on, and it's intended to be.
So what would you rate that match out of 10 stars?
I'm giving it a 7.5.
I would give it maybe a 5 or a 6. I'm a big enough New Day fan. That's why it's getting that boost up to 7.5. Yeah, I just was not that invested, and that was the second match of the evening too. So,
that's a rough spot to be in.
It's kind of a rough spot to be in because you just had a high match with Jey Uso and Gunther, and then you have to go follow that, and then I felt like another match that was just really, really quiet was Jade Cargill and Naomi. I don't know. I've never been over on Naomi, and I'm trying to get sold on Jade Cargill, which, by the way, this was Jade's first ever non-title singles match at WrestleMania. Which congrats to Jade for making it to Mania. But Baron, I don't know, man. Are you sold on Jade? Are you sold on her?
Oh, not at all. But I do have to give props to Naomi for this match, because if you actually sat there and watched this match, she carried the fucking piss out of Jade. Obviously she got her ass beat quite often, but it's her setting up the moves and everything else along those lines. And this match was more obvious than it should have been. But I mean, she literally carried that entire match, made Jade look pretty good. I mean, it wasn't the greatest of matches, no. But she did make her look good, and props to Naomi for that, because I've been not a huge fan of her body of work.
I'll say this. This is definitely one of Jade Cargill's better matches, and I do thank Naomi for that, because she is still young in the world of professional wrestling, as far as X amount of matches, but you can tell Jade Cargill is working hard to step her game up. And the counters that she did, go back and watch the counters she did in this match. I was impressed. I was like, whoa. Did everything look spot on 100% of the time? No, there was probably a couple times where it was like, ooh, that was a little messy. Man, she did great in this match. I mean, so props to both. It takes two to tango.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm very invested yet, Max, in this storyline, and I would assume this is the end of the story between Naomi and Jade, but no,
No, I think it's just getting started.
Unfortunately, this is not the end. As far as I'm concerned, I don't want to take away from either one of them because I try not to do that unless they are she who shall not be named. But this match did not need to be on WrestleMania. Don't get me wrong, this match needs to take place because of the story that you guys built, but it doesn't have to be at Mania. We could have done this on a Raw or SmackDown or even at Backlash. We could have done it at Backlash.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't need it on Mania. We could have had a triple threat ladder match for the tag titles for SmackDown. I'm giving this match a 6 because it didn't even belong here, and that's being generous.
Yeah, I'm going to give this match a 4. J-Bone, real quick, what would you give it, man?
I'm going to give it a 7. I was impressed by
Really?
it. I felt like the WWE did a good job in making both look like stars, and I was impressed with. I've been impressed with this heel turn from Naomi because it's something that kind of came out of nowhere. Like, whoa, oh, okay, and she's been doing it well. I like the new look. It's something similar but different. So and Jade Cargill always looks like $1 million out there.
You are way more liberal than what I give you. Baron, what's what about you, man?
That's yeah.
Is it gonna be as liberal as J-Bone?
Look, let me say something about Naomi real quick. It stems from her time in TNA when Naomi was really given the chance to shine on her own. That's a good portion of it. Yes, she's back in the WWE now, but I look at Naomi way differently than I did before when she left. So that's a good reason. That's a good portion of the reason right there. So,
Baron,
boy, yeah, I'm gonna. I agree with what Bell's boy said in chat as well, though. I feel like she needed a deep NXT run. I'm not quite sure what she's about. There's not much character work. There's not much in-ring work.
She's a star.
She's not a star, and I don't see her going very far. But if I was to give this match a rating, I would. I'd give this a 5.7.
Yeah. When she was in AEW and she shifted over to WWE, I was really excited for her because in AEW, because she was a powerhouse in Tony Khan's promotion.
Yeah, but we talked about it in the past, though. There was very few women on the roster at the time when she was there, right? So it made it seem she's never really had to struggle in a ring. I think what would bring her potential out is a feud with Bianca Belair, and I'm hoping we get that some stem of that maybe tomorrow. But yeah, I think that's where the clash needs to happen, and I think we'll get it.
Yeah, and another thing that Bell's boy pointed out, he wants us to go over the AAA.
We'll talk about that for sure.
We're going to talk about that on Tuesday. Not tonight. We're going to focus on the rest of WrestleMania for tonight because that's big news for the WWE. Let's get into LA and Jacob Fatu. Man, that was a hell of a match, and congrats to Jacob Fatu, J-Bone, because the dude's a workhorse. He's a powerhouse. I think he's respected in the locker room. I think he's respected backstage too with WWE officials. Yeah. It's just really cool to see Jacob as the U.S. champ now.
I knew back 6 years ago when I met him when he first debuted in the MLW that he was going to be something really special in this industry. Some people you can just tell when you look at them, and you can tell by their athleticism and how they carry themselves. So yeah, it's been exciting to watch this journey of what he's done, just tearing through people in MLW, and now he's in WWE, and he is just, dude.
He's manhandling people.
He is like a storm just tearing through a town, man.
Yeah,
He's just ripping a 2-mile wide path.
Yeah, he's like a 2 tornado that is just tearing shit up.
Yeah,
you know. But out of everything, though, what would you give this match, J-Bone? Because I'm kind of interested in what you thought of it.
Oh, I'd give it. It was exciting to watch.
Yeah,
because I felt like it was a gimme. Like it was like they put the title back on LA Knight to give it to Fatu. In a sense, not sure if anything. What's going on with Nakamura had anything to do with it. There's been rumors. I haven't seen anything since, so I think that's all bullshit. Because he was even at the Hall of Fame. So, but yeah, I love this match. I'll give this one an 8.75.
Whoa, points! You're giving out 0.7s.
Yeah,
nice.
So it's interesting, Baron, because technically LA Knight only had the title for 42 days or something like that. So was it too soon to give up the title? Because I did a little history, and there was a time where he had the title from for I think it was like 114 or 118 days or something like that.
The first time.
Yeah, the first time. And then he dropped it to Nakamura, right? And then Nakamura carried it, and now he dropped it to Jacob Fatu. So was it do you think there's like just too much of a gap there, or what are your thoughts on that?
No, I mean, he's putting people over, and I think this was a perfect time for him to drop this. I think he can go on to greener pastures. I think LA Knight can go have a feud with, as you know, I guess a champion. I mean, he's on the same show as Uso, right, Jay? Or am I wrong with that?
He's on SmackDown.
I get him mixed up all the fucking time.
He's on
SmackDown. So
SmackDown? Yeah, okay. So maybe not. I was gonna say that would be a great feud, and that's where I can see him going to take the belt away.
Let's see what happens tomorrow night, because LA Knight is one of those guys, with or without a title, walks in a room, commands attention, and you get 10 to 15,000 people. Yeah, he's got him. He's got him. It's a response as big, if not bigger, depending on the city it's in, than a Seth Rollins, a CM Punk, or a Roman Reigns. So, and I still gotta pinch myself when I see it, because I'm just like, man, it's one of the most organic things that's happened over the last few years in the WWE, and it's beautiful.
And that's a hard quality to obtain too. I mean, nobody can walk into a room and just capture attention like that, like LA Knight can. So, Baron, what would you give this match, man?
Good match. Fatu fucking Jacob B actually sold some moves, so that was great. Because a lot of times he doesn't. A lot of times he doesn't, but you know. I think LA and I can move on to bigger pastures here and feud with some bigger names at this point. So this is a great gap for Jacob to take the belt and do his thing with that. Good match. I would give it. I haven't seen a bad Jacob Fatu match ever, so I'd give it like a 7.87.
Wow, we're going with the points now, man.
I do a lot of pizza review videos I watch, and they always giving out like fucking like 7.2s and shit. So I'm like, all right, fine.
Yeah, I've been watching the shit out of Dave Portnoy, and I don't know why. Just him doing pizza reviews. It's just
I do all the time, man.
Oh my god, I fucking hate him, but I just watch the shit out of his pizza reviews. I would give it I mean, I would give this match probably a 7 between. It's teetering, Max, between a 7 and an 8. What are your thoughts?
Jacob Fatu is brutal in that ring. LA Knight is amazing. As far as I'm concerned, these guys put on a hell of a match.
They did.
I'm going to give this an 8.5.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm close to giving it an 8. I think we're going to just go with an 8.
Let me ask you: does the Maserati tip it either way?
Yes. In fact, because of the Maserati, I'm giving it a 9.
I'm not a car guy. I don't know shit about cars, but damn, that was fucking cool.
But let me clarify that. It wasn't because it was a Maserati. It was because of the cool doors on the side. That's why I bumped it up to a 9.
Those suicide doors, man. I'm telling you. Let's. Well, I guess we got to go to the near end.
Let me mention Jake. We all saw the mask he wore when he came out too. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was really cool too. Nearing the end of the match, though, Fatu was gained control, and the match carried on. And according to Michael Cole, his contest was also Jacob Fatu's first singles match in WWE. Fans chanted rather loudly. LA Knight caught Fatu off of a moonsault and hit a BFT midair, which was neat. Fatu got his hand on the bottom rope, break up the pinfall. They kept going. Jacob Fatu landed a Samoan drop from the top. He hit the 2 moonsaults to get a clean pinfall to become the new U.S. champion at WrestleMania 41. And it was cool, too, that King Haku came and congratulated Jacob on his victory, who is the father, of course, of Tama and Tonga. Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa, which was really, really awesome to see King Haku ringside, and they let him go down there. So awesome stuff, man. We move on to El Grande Americano versus Rey Fenix, and it was kind of scary at first because Rey Fenix, I think he was just selling, but Rey Fenix, he did something off the top rope, like he was walking across the top rope, and that's when Americano had the metal plate in his mask, and Rey Fenix kicked the shit out of him in his head and did something to his foot. Phoenix hits the mat and is just really selling his leg or his foot or whatever. And it seemed to be okay because, what's that?
I said, good night, Punk.
Oh, yeah. Good night, Punk. It seemed to be he was selling his leg or his foot or whatever the case, but seemed to be okay. But that was, I don't know about this match either, man. I'm just so done with the El Grande Americano. To me, it's like putting Hulk Hogan in a fucking luchador mask,
Fuck that guy.
I'm just over it, dude.
Hulk Hogan's never been in a mask.
What?
Yes, he has.
Wait a minute. Are you talking about that whole Mr. America thing from years back?
That
wasn't Hogan. That was somebody completely different.
That was.
Fuck up. Oh Jesus.
Oh,
that's all been debunked. That was like some other corny dude in Florida with.
Okay, brother.
I saw this. I saw the clip you shared the other day with what was that? The lie detector test. Yeah, that was freaking hilarious. That was good stuff. God. That's why I said that.
But I'm just over it. I'm just over this. To me,
it's only been around for a few weeks, so
yeah. But this whole like El Grande Americano, it's just to me, it's just I don't know, making fun of the luchador history. I guess to me, I don't know. J-Bone, you covered Lucha Underground quite a bit. Do you think I'm coming from the right place, or do you think it's just?
There's been heels before that have gone down to AAA that we'll just say represented USA, and they were heels. One was Brian Cage, came out the red, white, and blue, so he was like Super America guy or whatever. I don't, you know what I mean. And then another guy was I can't think of the guy's name, but he's the brother of Corey Graves. who was a wrestler down there for a long time. And so it is. I just compare it to that, like do I think it's racist? No.
No. I'm not saying racist. I'm just saying.
Okay.
I'm just saying, like, I don't know. Just
no, because I can picture some people saying, "Oh, you can't do that." Blah 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 blah. It's like, come on, no, it's
kind of. I don't know. To me, it just kind of makes the whole luchador thing, I don't know, a bit of a joke, if you will.
It's good timing now that the whole AAA conversation is. We'll talk about it Tuesday, so it makes sense. He might be a premier, like a premier wrestler down there or whatever the case may be. I think over time it will pan out well, and it probably would have been better if Rey Mysterio was in this match instead of Rey Fenix.
Yeah,
I know Rey Mysterio wasn't injured. I think this was he could have been, but I feel like this was just a pivot they made. But
no, he was carried to the back from after his match on Friday night.
Yeah, and he looked fine out there at the pre-show today, walking around, stunting around. I don't know. I think they just tried to get a different name in there because I think Rey would have won that match if he was in there.
Max, am I don't know, am I thinking too much out of turn here? Do you think this El Grande Americano gimmick is taking, I don't know, poking fun at the luchador?
I think that in a way it is Chad Gable poking fun because he has a luchador problem, and so he figured, this might fix it. But I think at the end of the day, if they handle it right, it could be entertaining and hopefully a short story.
I really hope it is a short story. I'm just over it.
I look at it as he has a problem with the luchadors, and what better way to really counter the whole battle with the luchadors and LWO or whatever than to get in their head and put on a mask and, you really work some psychology with them, because, they're going to look at him like, okay, I got to wrestle this guy, but man, he's really pissing me off. He's insulting what I came from and what I represent for centuries and centuries and all this stuff. So it's like there's a psychology to it.
I mean, I know there's a psychology to it, but I'm just talking away from the psychology, Anyway, nearing the end of the match, El Grande Americano got a pretty big heel reaction from the fans throughout the entire thing. Rey Fenix fought him on against, but El Grande was able to maintain control thanks to his amateur wrestling abilities, strangely like Chad Gable, like we just mentioned. El Grande Americano got the metal plate and the mask, kept going. Phoenix kicked him in the head, only to hurt his foot. Then the masked heel got he applied the ankle lock, just like Chad Gable, and Phoenix fought out of it, and eventually he did. El Grande Americano landed a headbutt, and then he climbed to the top rope, nailing a flying headbutt for the win, and your winner, El Grande Americano. I'm going to give this. Honestly, I mean, I know that this was Rey Fenix's debut match at WrestleMania, and I don't want that to hinder this rating. But because it's El Grande Americano, and because I've never been sold on Chad Gable, I think he's just a fucking ripoff of Kurt Angle. I'm going to give it a 4.
Whoa, dude!
Yeah, I'm going to give it a 4.
Bro.
Yeah, I don't.
Hey, all right.
Max.
I think they're both solid workers. I think they did put on a solid match. And that kick to the head that El Grande Americano took from the Kingo at the beginning, I'm going to give this a 7, especially because of that kick.
Wow. Okay. Baron.
Yeah, I think both are good in the ring. This is another match that didn't have to happen on Mania. I think we could squeeze in some other matches. I'd give it a 6.
Okay. J-Bone.
I'm going to give it a 7. I didn't like the finish, but that doesn't stop me from liking this match because I know how good Chad Gable is, and I know how good Fenix is, and I'm so proud of Fenix to get to this stage and to show the world what, how good he is. And I can't wait for more. And hopefully,
kudos to him. For sure.
Hopefully his foot isn't too banged up. But man, he sold the shit out of that when he kicked him in the head, and because he had the steel plate there. Yeah. So props to him for selling that.
From a guy from the inside to you, I think his foot's fine because he had kick pads on, so he had padding on his foot.
Well, that's what I was saying. It's like he kicked the shit out of his face. Yeah. Rey fell and sold it, and then he hobbled at first, but then he was fine.
Yeah, but I mean, like, what the fuck is it? Like, why are they even selling that? Why is he putting that in his mask? Like, is that a fucking 400-pound steel? What's?
I don't know what. I don't know.
I don't understand that spot. He's done it multiple times, and like,
it's to sell the fierceness and make the flying headbutt even more fierce. Which I'm a little surprised they do that, but I'm not going to overthink it.
No, I know that
there wasn't any like high. I just don't understand why the other person's selling that kick. Or
it's because
it's
Americano. That's why.
Well, let's move on to what I consider match of the night number one, and that would be Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair. Boy, these ladies did fantastic. I'm talking. I was so invested in this match.
They were crazy.
Oh, this was so good. I think it was the story behind the match, all of the issues that these ladies had with each other. It was just incredible. So nearing the end of this match, Tiffany Stratton attacked Charlotte Flair's bad knee to get free of a hold, and following Stratton nailing a chop block, Stratton put Flair in position for the prettiest moonsault ever, but Flair got her knees up for a near fall. Flair nailed a sloppy natural selection from the top rope for a near fall next. Flair tried to get a figure 8 on Tiffany Stratton, but it was countered. They kept going, and then Flair missed a spear, and she nailed the turnbuckle. Stratton sent Flair back into the corner with a whiplash. That was followed by setting Flair up for the prettiest moonsault ever. She pulled it off to retain the title, and still your champion is Tiffany Stratton. This was, like I said, man, this was a damn good match, Baron. Were you involved in that match? Did you like it?
Yeah, no, it was a great match. Both ladies did wonderful in the ring. I got my prediction wrong. I thought for sure anytime Charlotte comes back from anything, she tends to win the damn title. So that was unpredictable to me, and I appreciate that outcome because I like when that I don't predict that shit. But yeah, man, I thought it was a really good match. They did great in the ring. So we finally have, a new premier women's champion.
Yeah.
And Tiffy, so
yeah. Max, I know it's normally Tiffy time every time she's on in your house. So what did you think about that match, dude?
Listen, I love this. When Charlotte first came back and won the Rumble, I was like, okay, they're gonna put the belt on Charlotte. That's all there is. It wasn't until just before we went live today that I shifted my opinion and thought, you know what? Thinking over this whole buildup, I think Tiffy has a chance. I think she's going to retain. And that's what I went with. I went with my gut, thinking that there was a good chance they were going to keep it on her. Boom. I was very excited with this match. And this is the match I was talking about when I said that my match of the night was not the main event. This is the match of the night for me.
This was match of the night number 1. It was so good. Again, I think it was because J-Bone, I was so invested in the story. The interviews that these ladies did with Wade Barrett was just like the cherry on top.
Yeah.
This was if you want to know how to tell a story, both on a promo and on a microphone and in the ring, this is how you do it.
Yeah, it got a little weird a couple weeks ago when there was the comment on Tiffy's man, who we know is
Ludwig.
Kaiser. Thank you. Yeah,
Ludwig Kaiser.
Being in Charlotte's DMs, and then like I mentioned on the podcast, the look that Charlotte gave to the crowd, she had like that shit-eating grin, but had this blank stare, like just it was like awkwardness times 1,000. But I felt like leading into this match, they recovered from that. You had to, because you had to erase that and make people focus on the match. And these two came out guns blazing, and they really put on a hell of a show. And they made it feel personal without getting too crazy. Now, there was times in the match where my wife is sitting next to me watching this, and she doesn't really like Charlotte, but she was very, and I mean very, upset at Tiffany Stratton. And it was when she was taking Charlotte's leg, the messed up one, with the brace, and just driving it into the canvas, and just absolutely destroying Charlotte towards the end of the match.
Yeah. I hope that, so I don't mean to cut you off, but
okay.
I was just thinking about one of the episodes that they on LFG is two of the ladies on there had a match, and they really didn't know what to do as far as adding salt to how to I guess highlight an injury in the ring. So that's one of the things I think Mickie James was telling one of the ladies, is that what can you do to highlight that injury, or highlight like
to sell it.
Yeah, like somebody gave, it was like they really injured their arm or something like that, and Mickie said, how are you going to play on that? How are you going to power that? That is how you do it. That is how you do it, Max, and that is like, I think that's like wrestling 101. Is what you do, is you highlight that injury, like, oh shit, I just took out her knee and she really hated that, or she reacted to that. Let's play on that.
Do you know what we in the business call that knee brace that she is wearing on her knee?
Yeah.
It's a target. That's all it is. And that's even before you get in the ring and get it hurting a little bit. You wear that, you're telling everybody, go for this knee.
What is that actually doing, though, for the wrestler? What is that protecting? I'm always curious, because I know Stone Cold had two of them on at one point.
I mean, it's supposed to help you keep your knees working while you're in the match. But really, all it is when you get in there, your opponent sees it and goes straight for it, attacks.
Yeah, I've always been curious what benefit it has for the performer. I never understood it.
I just loved the fact that she drove that knee into, like, Charlotte's bad knee into the match. That was the most vicious that I've ever seen Tiffany Stratton, to be honest. And Tiffany, with even with her entrance, with the whole Barbie thing, you wouldn't think that Tiffany Stratton would have that kind of animalistic nature in her, but damn, that was really fucking impressive. I was really taken back on that. So out of let's see, 10 stars, Max, I don't know if we gave it a rating yet, but what would you rate it?
I am giving this match Ty Dillinger.
Ty Dillinger.
the perfect 10.
Oh wow. Yeah. This was I would have to go with either a 9.5 or a 10. This was a good damn match. Really good damn match. Baron, what would you rate it?
Yeah, I don't go crazy on ratings. My ratings are tough ratings. But I'm going to give it a nice little 8.5. It was a great match. I was invested. I enjoyed it. Both ladies did work. And like I said, the ending, I was not predicting that, was not seeing that. So as a wrestling fan, I appreciate that type of stuff. And it's what makes me keep coming back.
Absolutely. J-Bone, what would you rate Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair out of 10 stars?
Oh, I'd give that one oof. I you know what? I'll be generous. I'm gonna give it a 9. That was damn good.
All right. Yeah.
And I was doubly like, because I was one that's like that I picked Tiffy to win, but inside I was like, but
I think I was the only one here that picked, Charlotte, right, Max?
I think so.
Yeah. I think so. Yeah.
Let's see here. Tiffy, Charlotte, Tiffy. Yep, you're the only one to pick Charlotte out of the 4 of us.
But I wasn't confident in that pick. That's the thing. So
yeah, that's a hard pick. I was. Anytime she returns, it always feels like she wins that damn belt.
Because like she returned in that match against Rhea Ripley and lost. So my thinking is just like kind of like wrestling math. Like, okay, you lose one, now you're gonna win one.
But wasn't Charlotte champ? Was she champ?
I
don't remember. I feel like she was though. I feel like she's always a champ at Mania. My memory is fucking faded, boys. But
possibly, it was like 2 years ago because Charlotte was gone for a while.
Yeah,
I'd have to look, but I know that she lost to Rhea Ripley.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah. I think it was really just a solid match. Another match of the night, though, for me, the triple threat. And boy, what a match that was.
Slobberknocker.
I don't think either one of us saw what was coming at the end of it. And let's go to the end of the match. 2 power bombs through each broadcast table is what Roman Reigns did to CM Punk and to Seth Rollins. They all eventually returned to the ring, and there was a near fall after near fall, and every man was out on the mat at one point, and Punk nailed a GTS on Rollins, and then Roman hit a spear on Punk before Rollins nailed a stomp on Reigns. Everyone was down, selling the damage from the match. Paul Heyman decided to walk over and grab a steel chair, and he walked slowly toward the ring. And that is when CM Punk and Roman Reigns were kind of aware of what was going on. And Paul Heyman slid the chair to CM Punk. And before Punk could hit Roman with the chair, Heyman nailed a low blow to Punk, and he didn't seem happy about it. And then Heyman handed the chair to Roman, who took it and pummeled Punk with the weapon. Then Reigns turned towards Seth Rollins, but Heyman nailed Rollins with a low blow as well, only to take the chair and present it to Seth. And it seems like Rollins has cashed in finally his favor. And Seth took a moment before he whacked Roman Reigns across the back with a chair, which was followed by a stomp for the win. And honestly, guys, neither one of us saw this shit happening. I predicted a heel turn, but I predicted CM Punk would turn heel.
Oh yeah,
I feel like I predicted it though on our prediction show.
I think we touched on it, but we didn't know who was going to do what. It felt like Heyman was going to do something, but it was so hard to tell. Like, who is he really going to hurt? Because it was because he swore up and down.
I guess I just don't understand why though. Like, what was the benefit of him doing that? Are we pushing Seth to the moons or what? What's going on here? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
just wait.
And Mir,
Just
that's what I meant. Heyman low blowed Roman. Yeah. Anyway,
He didn't just low blow me like.
Yeah, he twisted that son of a bitch. Yeah, he fucking gave it to him.
Yeah, it was weird, man. Like how he.
Did you hear his hand hit the fucking steel chair too?
That's why he went like this after it, because he clipped the chair.
Yeah. Matt, your thoughts?
Oh, this match was great.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have rated it as match of the night. It did elevate itself with the finish. The finish was amazing.
Yeah.
Heyman turns on his best friend and his tribal chief, and he screams at his best friend, "You made me choose. You made me choose. This is your fault." And I guess that means all that's left is the favor that I owe Heyman. I guess I'm going to get called here soon to bring that in.
Yeah. Wait for I want you to wait for that phone call. Let me know when you get it. But this was match of the night because all three of these guys just put in the work, and they really all four of them. Yeah. They all told the story. And like I said, what gets me is not only the mic work, the promos that these guys cut, because they were some epic promos, but it's also the in-ring work too, and how that match is told, and the animosity between Seth and CM Punk, and Seth trying to rally Roman to tag team on Punk, to just knock him out of the equation as long as they could before those two. And Roman never did. Roman never wanted to help Rollins or partner with Rollins, which I thought was good. Like I said, this whole story was just fantastic from beginning to the end. Baron, what would you rate this match?
Yeah, for sure, match of the night. I think we all had our favorites and we all had our stuff throughout the night one. I thought it was a little bit lackluster, and I didn't think it was the greatest until this main event. So I'm going to give this a 9.2 out of 10. I thought it was great. I thought the finish was perfect. The guys tore down between the three and some good spots, and I'm looking forward to see how this actually plays out.
I am too. I'm looking forward to Monday.
Yeah, it's gonna be odd. I don't think we're gonna see Roman. I think CM Punk, obviously, but it's gonna be interesting how it plays out.
Yeah, I would rate this match 9.5 out of 10. Just be. I don't know why I would rate it 9.5 out of 10, because I think 10 would just be.
Just say 10.
Well, no, because fuck. 10. We'll just give it a damn 10, because I don't know why. I would rate it 9.5 out of. I don't know. I feel like I need to be generous with my 10s, and maybe that was a 10-star match for me. But J-Bone, what did you think? What would you rate it?
You don't have to feel bad, Dizzy, because it's one out of the 2 10s you're going to give this card when Mania is done tomorrow night. Okay.
Oh, I know. Oh my God, okay. I know.
Yeah. Without hesitation, this match, absolute 10. Just because everyone brought it. Mm-hmm. There was that sense of mystery, like who was going to do what, who was going to be, who was going to end up the low man, the low blow man on a totem pole. What was look, it's every time. I don't care what you say. Everyone put on an all-star performance, but the Emmy always goes to Paul, no matter what. I don't care.
Yeah, he's fucking good.
The Emmy goes to Paul because he made you believe like 5 different things during that last 5 minutes of the match. Like, oh, is he going to throw the chair between the two? Because that's what always happens, it seems like, in other matches where there's a triple threat and someone has to get a little leg up in the match. Like, oh, okay, that may, but that would have made that would have been way too much, way too soon. They had to go through the psychology of, I'm helping you, Punk. I've always been with you, Punk, through this match. I'm in your corner. Here's the chair. Finish him off. Low blow. Here's the chair, Roman. Let's do this. He's right there. Seth is right there. Fucking do it. Low blow number 2. It was just, like you, when you saw the first one, you knew the second one was coming, but you're just like, oh my God. It's just,
I mean, you couldn't write Hollywood like that. Like, that is good, you know. So what would you rate it?
10.
10, okay. Max, this was, like I said, man, this was just honestly for me match of the night, but what are your thoughts?
I can honestly say that I have never seen a match that Paul Heyman was somehow involved in that I didn't like, except Ryback, of course. Paul is so good with those facial expressions and his body language that I'm sorry, I could watch Paul the entire match and know what's happening in the ring. That's how damn good he is. Mm-hmm. You could have 3 James Ellsworths fighting in that match, and I'm still going to enjoy it because I'm watching Paul react to it.
Yeah.
That being said, I don't think it was perfect. It was damn close, but I don't think it was perfect. So I'm giving it a 9.5.
Okay. What do you think was not perfect about it, though, before we call it a night?
I think that it was a little too predictable that Heyman was going to help Seth. And that's partly because of the fact that Seth did, you owe me a favor now. Yeah, we could have gone months, but I think we all knew that was going to come to fruition tonight.
I think as we're wrapping up the show, though, exactly what Mir said, we should all give this a 10 because of the fucking performance from Living Color, which we watched again before we went live because it was great. So never mind, 10.
I'm giving Living Color a 10 for their performance tonight.
Man, and they still sound just so fucking good, and I'm so excited to see Sunday night because we have Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez against Lyra Valkyria. And who knows what partner she's going to pick? I said AJ Lee or Alexa Bliss, but it's going to be interesting to see who Lyra is going to pick. Also, we have AJ Styles and Logan Paul, Braun Breaker versus Penta versus Finn Balor versus Dominic Mysterio. We have Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre in a Sin City street fight. Io Sky, Bianca Belair, and Rhea Ripley in the triple threat. Cody Rhodes, John Cena. That is the match that everybody is waiting to see. And also, who will Randy Orton face? Who is going to accept that open challenge? We'll find out tomorrow. We will be back with a review show for you on Sunday night, too. Right after WrestleMania Night 2 is done, we'll come back here and review it. So please hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button, and that tells YouTube that you enjoy our videos and what we do here and recommends our videos to more people. So, Baron, how can they follow you on social media, sir?
None of you guys follow me, but if you wanted to, go to Scumbag Jordan with 3.
3 ends. And
tomorrow is going to be a banger. We got some fucking heat matches tomorrow.
Yes, we do. And give Baron a follow, damn it.
I don't get it on that app very often, so I don't even know if people do follow me or not.
He's an easy follow. He's a safe follow.
Yeah, if you haven't followed Baron yet, go follow Baron. J-Bone, how can they follow you, sir?
You could follow me on the old Twitter box at a JBone5150. That's a JAYBONE 5150.
And Max, how can they follow you?
First off, I have it on good authority that Randy Orton's opponent is going to be a squash match, and he's facing J-Bone. You can find me at Max Mages. You can find my nerdy podcast at Our Shots Podcast. You can listen to that podcast wherever you get your podcasts, or go to random-shots.net and give us a listen. It's nerdy. It's fun.
Yeah, you'll like it's a little bit of this, a little bit of that. It's a good show. You should check it out. And
so that means I'm not going to be on the show tomorrow because I'll be like yelling at the crowd, like, oh, you guys suck. Milwaukee's best. Las Vegas sucks. I'm going to turn around and I'm going to get an RKO from my troubles.
Hold on. It also depends how many RKOs you get from Randy and if you can even move afterwards.
No. I think we all know that by the time the WrestleMania ends tomorrow night, since he'll already had a match, he's going to be asleep behind the wheel on his way home.
He won't even make it down the fucking ramp before he falls asleep.
Right?
Hold on a minute. Hold on a second. I'm tired. I need to nap.
Love, J-Bone, love.
Wait a minute. I think I broke my hip. Give me a second.
Why am I picking on my best friend on this show? What has gotten into me? J-Bone, I apologize. I apologize for that.
I don't know, but we love you for
it. No, he doesn't. You can follow.
I'll get to the bottom. I'll be all blown up and be like, eh.
I think we all fucking will, as long as those entrances are. Jesus,
it's like we're done here. Randy, you win by default. You can follow the show on Facebook at Ramblers Unleashed. Search for us there. On X, that is where you can find us right there. It's the Ramblers Pod, and make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Like the videos, and thank you so much for 228 subs. And I got to go make sure that we are still at 228, which we are. Thank you so much for 228 subscribers. We certainly do appreciate you. Tell your friends about us. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the like button that tells, again, YouTube that you like what we're doing and tells others that, hey, they should come check us out too if they're wrestling fans. So until night number 2 of WrestleMania, enjoy it. We'll be here to review it. And until then, enjoy professional wrestling, and we will talk to you tomorrow night. See ya.
Happy Rusev Day.
Happy 420, baby.
Into Ramblers Unleashed. Follow the show on social media. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and click the bell icon for notifications of upcoming episodes.
I still